The world is flat.
Yeah, we are advocates and street activists, realists that are passionate. We don't fall for the lies. We know the news is inadequate, spreading that information they choose. That's why we wake and peeps up with the truth. Cause most don't know about the evil. That's why we go on the streets and talk to people, spitting on facts about the flat earth, undo the lies that been told since birth. From NASA to Photoshop, from the moon to the Hollywood flop, from the ice wall to the vacuum of space, we undo the atmosphere they put in place. That's Dr. Law, Chris, Calvin, and Free Flow, Captain Kirk, Christo, and that flat fellow. This the team, the squad, the Kakalaki crew, hitting the streets, letting people know what's true, letting them see through a new view, a world they can live up to. The world is flat, most don't know that. And that's a tag across the map. Never lie and spitting facts on the track, bringing the truth back. Yeah, cause the work must be done. We take it on, we don't run. No matter the obstacles, we there. Cause it's knowledge we share. Despite all the resentment, we stay to represent. To shine a light on those in need. To unlock the mind and be free. Cause this is more than trust. This is for the future of all of us. And that's why we continue to grow. All our sisters and all of our bros. Ted, Brian, Eric, Just Jack, Greg and Christy, Daniel, Caroline, Scooter, and our rock star Karen B. All one with the Kakalaki crew. And we in this to win this, cause our vision is true. The world is flat, most don't know that. And that's a tag across the map. Never lie and spitting facts on the track, bringing the truth back.
The world is ours, the world is yours, the earth ain't round, let's open a new door. These ships don't come, take a closer look. You may be surprised, if you open the book, it might have you shook, it might have you hooked. Balloons up so high, show you the truth, curve like a fish eye. What's the real truth? There's no pictures, it's all Photoshop. You can't have pressure without busting pipes. It don't seem right, it don't seem gravity is fake. Nothing is that strong now. Planes can't fly straight now. If the earth is round, it would have to dip. If the earth is round, couldn't see the big dip. No. If the earth was spinning, balloons wouldn't fly around. They wouldn't fly. We can see too far, we can see it. The earth ain't round. If the earth is round, it would have to dip. If the earth is round, couldn't see the big dip. If the earth is round, it would have to dip. If the earth is round, couldn't see the big dip.
This is the MellowDome.
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
You say hello to them fellows. The nugs sticky like marshmallows. Always ready to go, reppin' that wake and bake show. With Austin and Christian Knapp. Better put on your thinking cap, cause they're getting down to the nitty gritty. And sometimes they don't look so pretty. From Sandy Hook to 9/11, hear them out at your discretion. From flat earth to moon landings, all aboard and listen to your captain. And pack a bowl while you at it, cause staying baked is a habit. Fresh out the oven, it's time for discussion. So much knowledge you might get a concussion, cause you are now in the mix with the slickest of the slicks, the kings of the throne. Yeah, this the MellowDome. They the type to change your mind, make you rethink and rewind. Spark a thought that goes shine, bring sight to the blind. No matter where they roam, it's the MellowDome.
All right. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the MellowDome. We are now on Rockfin, but I don't know how to get it going. So I don't know how to start that. But we are on YouTube on the backup channel. You know, I don't really know why this isn't going live. But anyways, we're here, episode 38. Much love, everybody. Thank you for being here. Christian isn't going to be here tonight. He picked up his children, so he's spending some quality time with them tonight. But tonight, we have Tommy, that flat fellow, on with us tonight. He was our first guest ever on the MellowDome, and if I can get the live stream working on Rockfin, he will be our very first guest on Rockfin. So, but much love, everybody. And Tommy, hello, how are you doing, Bubba? No sound. Says your connection's bad too. Just give us a second, guys. No audio still. You probably got to hop out and jump back in. But how do I start this over here? How do I get this going? I have no idea how to get the Rockfin going right now. And I have it linked to my to the restream. I have it all set up. It says right here, scheduled 7 p.m. I don't know where start button is or anything. Sorry, guys. Maybe Tommy will be back on in a minute. Sorry, guys. It's not a false start. It's just a late start on Rockfin. But I am on Rockfin now, thankfully. Let me get Tommy back in here. Yo, what's up, brother?
What's up, Austin?
Yeah, where's Stavely when you need him, bro? Where's Brian at to help me out with this? What's up, brother?
Can you hear me now, brother?
Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. I'm live with the slickest of the slicks. That's great. What's up, everybody?
Hey, hell yeah, that's right. So I seem to not be able to know how to get the Rockfin going. I didn't think until last minute, like maybe I got to manually make it go live or something. But yeah. So I don't know. That really sucks. I don't really know what to do with that. But I guess the show must go on. If anything, I guess just post it later or something. Man, that sucks. Yeah, so okay. All right. Screw it. We got the show has to go on, right? So anyways, tonight is episode 38, Atlantis. Here comes the boom, baby. And we got a great guy on, Tommy. He's a wealth of knowledge. It's going to be a great show tonight, guys. Sorry, guys. This is just bothering me a little bit. But yeah, so we're going to be getting into some great gravy tonight, guys. We're going to be getting into Atlantis, the whole story of Atlantis, where it could possibly be at right now. Yeah, and a few other things. Who knows? Like, this is going to be a great conversation. So, Tommy, if you want to introduce yourself and start off we're going to do kind of like a presentation style, kind of like Cammy did, because we have a lot of slides to bring up. So I'm actually probably going to be taking the chat down from the screen for a while so we can bring up all these things. And you know, when I get better with StreamYard or whatever, I can incorporate the other chats and all that. You know, it's a work in progress. You know, we're getting there, and all you guys are supporting. I really appreciate it. But yeah, Tommy, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? Just a flat earther, a guy out here looking for truth. I got into flat earth back in 2017 early, and wow, it's been 4 years of that now, and been into Atlantis for about 12 to 13 years. So I'm really, really happy now that the flat earth community is getting more and more interested in Atlantis, because that's where my original passion of research went into, was looking into Atlantis and being able to tie the two things together, and getting the community to look into more and more stuff. Like QTV was bringing up stuff about Bob Marley, talking about going back to Africa. We all need to go back to Africa.
I thought that was so cool, dude. I thought that was so cool. I'm like, yo, that was pretty cool, dude. I like Bob
So
Marley.
it's
If you can't tell, I
it's
like that.
awesome, brother. I love the fact that there's so many great researchers in this community, and I know that now moving forward, when I bring all this evidence for Atlantis up, that you guys are going to jump on it and just keep taking it forward, and I think we're really going to get somewhere with it.
Hell yeah. Um, sorry, brother. 1 second. Yeah, definitely, man. You've already been on a lot of other streams already talking about all of this great stuff, you know, and they've been all of them. I've watched all of them. They've been all great shows. The last one you had with Hugh was a great one, and even when me and you had those conversations at Flattoberfest, they were amazing, man. They were amazing, dude. So, um, all this is going to be really good gravy. The whole story of where it came about, and even later when we're getting to the whole sonic boom conundrum, you would call it, right? All of it, man. You're just a fucking genius in my eyes.
Well, I just pick a few subjects and I look into it a lot until I get to the point where I'm ready to talk about it with you guys.
Yeah. Do you do Vehicle University?
No, what's that?
That's when. Okay, so when I go to work, right, I got 30 minutes to work, 30 minutes back home, right? So the whole 30 minutes, I'm listening to something for like research or something like that. Every time I'm in the car, there's always something playing that I'm like trying to absorb, some type of information. And I call that Vehicle University.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm a graduate of Vehicle University, brother. Well, yesterday I drove. I had 9 hours of drive time yesterday, so I was just taking it in, listening to all kinds of obscure stuff. So
Hell
I
yeah,
just
dude.
listen to. I like to listen to what everybody has to say, and I take the good from the bad, combine it together, and then go fact check it and delve into it more. And then that's where you find that gravy, brother.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Um. All right. So I'm just gonna leave that alone. It's distracting me. So yeah. The story about Atlantis, man, very fascinating to me. I know. I always thought that. I mean, I never really did much research into this, but I always thought that. I mean, the story I was told was that Atlantis is possibly underwater in the Atlantic somewhere. You know, and the information you're coming out with is like totally different, and it vibes with everything you're saying. It's pretty fascinating. So you want to get into it?
Yeah, we can
I don't.
start with where the story came from. So when you
Yes.
hear a lot about Atlantis, 99% of everything that you hear about Atlantis is pure speculation because there's only two sources um, for Atlantis. That's Crataeus and Timaeus from Plato's dialogues, and then you also have Herodotus' map, the father of history as he's known, and he has a map of the known world at the time that he drew, and those were the all the knowledge of Atlantis comes from. And what you might ask is, well, where did Plato find out about Atlantis? Because he had to find out about it somewhere because it was 9,000 years before Plato. So when Plato was writing about in Crataeus, Atlantis and Crataeus and Timaeus, he mentions where he heard the story from. And he heard it from Crataeus, who heard it from his grandfather, who was also named Crataeus, who heard it from Dropides, and Dropides heard it from Solon. So that's the chain of the all the knowledge and wealth of Atlantis and how it came down to Plato there. So where did Solon find out about all this information? Well, Solon, well, first of all, who is Solon? Is he just some whack job, or is he somebody that if he brings up some information, is this somebody we should listen to? So Solon at the time in Greece was a lawyer, he was a statesman, he was a poet, and he felt like he accomplished everything there was to accomplish at the time. And one of the things that he was really, really into was finding the oldest records of humanity. So, of course, if that time, if you're going to find the oldest records of humanity, you travel to Egypt. And in Egypt, the oldest records of humanity were kept in a temple called the Temple of Sais. And the Temple of Sais there was run by a priest named Sanchez. And Sanchez told the story of Atlantis to Solon. And Atlantis was known to be, this was a real place that existed. and this is how it was told to Solon. It wasn't like it was a myth. And we've all encountered myths and stuff in the past that have actually turned out to be true, like the city of Troy. Always thought to just be a myth, but then, the city was found, it was dug up and excavated. So things that were thought to be myth over time or pseudo history um, can be discovered. So it wasn't even until the 1800s that Troy was discovered. So not really that long ago in the grand scheme of history. So if we look back at the story of Atlantis and how it was told to Solon, it was written down on parchment papers and hieroglyphics there in Egypt, and Sanchez told Solon all about Atlantis. And when he described Atlantis as Plato wrote it, he came up with 51 things that you can go by to determine, is this Atlantis? So he gives 51 descriptions that you should be able to use to verify. And this is called the list of 51. But of those 51 things, there's like 20 things that you'll never ever be able to verify. Like the third king of Atlantis's second cousin, his name was such and such. You're not going to be able to verify something like that, something obscure. So you narrow it down to a list of 31. And most Atlantis researchers go by this list when they're looking for Atlantis. Now I'm going to go over the list, and all this information comes only from Crataeus and Timaeus. So none of this is speculation. This isn't like Plato's allegory where he tells you that it's just a story. He tells you this is a fact. This is something, a place that's real, and this is all about it right here. So he describes Atlantis as an empire. Now, the empire of Atlantis was real vast and expanded most of northern Africa into the Atlantic Ocean and up towards Morocco and in that area. And the enemy of Atlantis was Athens. And Plato says that Atlantis would be within 5,000 kilometers of Athens. So when searching for Atlantis and you are outside 5,000 kilometers of Athens, you're in the wrong place, first of all. So this really narrows our search window as to where we can find Atlantis. Now, keeping that in mind, you also have to be able to traverse Atlantis by sea. So that you go from the Mediterranean, and then Plato also says that it's located outside the Pillars of Hercules. So you have to leave Athens, through the Mediterranean, and leave the Pillars of Hercules. Now your search window is really, really small. Now you're only talking about England, off the coast of England, off the coast of Spain, France, parts of Europe, even farther north, Belgium, and then to the south, which would be northern Africa, which is the location that I know Atlantis to be, because the rest of the list matches. So the city of Atlantis, the capital, has alternating concentric circles of land and water. So you have water on the outside, then you have a ring, then you have water, then you have a ring, you have water, and then you have that center island. Now Plato says you'll know this is Atlantis because you can dig a well on the outer ring, and when you dig that well, you'll hit salt water. When you move to the second ring and dig a well, you'll also hit salt water. The third ring, you dig a well and you'll hit salt water. But the center island of the capital city of Atlantis, when you dig a well, you'll hit fresh water. That test has been done in this area. And look at this picture here that Austin just put up.
Actually, this picture is even better because this shows the salt. You can see the salt on those outer rings. I'll go back to the other picture though, but I'm just saying like how you were describing like salt water on certain rings and fresh water on others. You can see remnants of where that would be salt. All that white. There's a
100%.
guy on he put a BitChute channel, or he put it on his BitChute channel. He went out there and he tasted that shit, and it was pure salt. He almost died going out there, and I think he got in big fucking trouble too. But he went out there, and all these outer rings was so much salt was everywhere. But I'll go back to that other picture while you're describing. Sorry, I cut you off, bro.
Oh no, that's perfect, brother. That's great information to put on there. And the reason we got in trouble is because it's illegal to travel there unless you're a government employee without special authorization. Because you can only go to the capital city of Mauritania, first of all. And then if you're a government employee with special authorization, they say it's too dangerous to leave the capital city. They don't want you going here to explore this. Just like we can't go explore Antarctica.
Right.
This place here is basically unexplorable.
Right.
But this picture here is an artist's conception of if we raise the sea levels, what Atlantis would look like as a city at that time. So you can see here in this picture, you'll see that as Plato describes, you'll have an inlet to the sea from the south. And the reason why all this water is here is if you play with different apps, you can raise and lower sea levels. And if you raise the sea levels 1,500 feet, this is what will happen to that area right here. And you'll have salt water, and you'll have a river that the ocean's basically going to come in, but not so much as a river because you don't have a whole bunch of rains coming from this area. You have rivers that flow from the mountains to the north that all flow towards Atlantis, but there's no other rivers in that area. So when he talks about the salt water and that, just like Austin was talking about the salt, there was an archaeological dig that was dug there, and it was as they were digging, it rained, and it doesn't rain that often there. And when it did, it washed away some of the sand on the outer circles of the concentric circles. And what they saw was fossilized fish, and the species of the fish only come from the ocean. So we know that this place was connected to the ocean. And another thing that Plato talks about.
Yeah, that's right.
He says
there is some other animals mentioned too, right?
He talks about elephants. Atlantis had elephants. Well, anybody knows anything about Africa, you don't have elephants there in northern Africa. But that same archaeological survey.
You do in Mauritania, though.
You do in Mauritania, and they found elephant bones in this region. So
yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I couldn't believe that when I heard that. Like, whoa, they found elephant bones out there, and then you're hearing stories of them having elephants. Like, what?
Exactly. So everything lines up with this area. So when you hear people talk about, like James Cameron, he went off the coast of Spain and, the swamps there and talked about Atlantis may be there. It's just not matching up with the list here. When you go down the list, and as a researcher, you have to, let's say you get like 4 or 5 things. You'll go, okay, maybe this place could fit. But once you get to the point where everything on the list matches, you have to look at yourself honestly and say, all right, this is Atlantis. It's got to be because everything matches.
Right.
Another thing that they talked about was to the north, there were mountains. And as flat earthers, we know that the mountains, he said the mountains to the north protected Atlantis from the winds from the north. So we know for a fact that for that to happen, it had to be on the northern hemisphere. So that once again narrows this region of where Atlantis can be to above the equator.
I'm trying to find a good picture with the mountains. Well, all that top part is the mountains. Hold on. Maybe this one will work. Here we go. So
Yeah,
all those
there you go.
are mountains on the north. And then let me add to that really quick. There's even is it in here? Did I say? Oh yeah, so right here, these are even mountain ranges that are even further north, a lot bigger. And I don't know if you know the Sahara Atlas range. They're called the Atlas Mountains. Like literally, you know what I mean? Like another one, And these aren't the same mountains that are like directly above. I mean, it's part of them, you know what I mean? Because the Eye of Sahara is obviously, you can't see my mouse, but it's down by the Anti-Atlas range. Let me go back to the other picture so you can finish. Oh, wait, let me go to this real quick. So these, hold on, sorry. These right here, so down here, that circle is the Eye of Sahara, and then right above that red circle is the mountains he's talking about. And then there's even more mountains that's even more north. That whole red area, those are called the Atlas Mountains. So, yeah, just want to add that out there.
Yeah, it's more great information because we know there's a certain etymology of words. And I'll go into that a little bit later when we look at some of the other map. And Plato describes the mountains to the north. He goes into further detail, and he says the mountains to the north are red, white, and black. And when we look at the mountains in this area, we notice that they are red, white, and black. And Atlantis gleamed red in the sun. because Atlantis was covered in a metallic substance known as orichalcum. Now, orichalcum has been thought to be a myth, and you'll find it as like ores and stuff in fantasy video games. But in the year 2015, in the Sea of Galilee, there was a shipwreck that was discovered, and the shipwreck contained ingots, and the ingots were composed of the metals that Plato described as copper, gold, and iron, and they gleamed red in the sunlight. So
Hmm.
that is the orichalcum. Now,
And one of
when you
the
look,
main exports from the Mauritania is gold and copper and iron.
that is correct. That is 100%. The GDP in 2018, their top four exports was iron, fish, copper, and gold. So the three metals are in the top four exports even to this day. So
Yep.
from everything from the etymology of words to the actual metals that are exported to this day, everything is still there. And um, Plato also says that the first king of Atlantis, his name was King Atlas. And Austin, I think you got some information on this, brother.
Yeah, pretty fascinating, dude. I can't believe I found this, but yeah, the first king established in Mauritania, it King Atlas. You know, he's the land of the Morai. Atlas was a legendary king of Mauritania. Just another coincidence, though, right? you know.
Yeah, we're just checking stuff off this list one by one. And you cannot do this in any other location. So we're at the point now that's beyond the coincidence. Like you can't just keep saying, we got king names, we got the exact color of mountains, the composition of the mountains are A, B, and C, which matches perfectly to what Plato said. So the exact dimensions of the Eye of the Sahara. Now Plato says he actually gives the dimensions of Atlantis, and he says that it's 127 stadia in diameter. Now a stadia is 607 feet. So we write that out, 127 stadia times 607 feet would be 77,089 feet or 23 and a half kilometers wide. And if you check the diameter of the recot structure and you measure it across, you get 23 and a half kilometers wide. It's the exact distance that Plato describes down to the tenth of a kilometer. So it is exactly, perfectly 127 stadia across, even to this day.
That's crazy.
Um,
And then didn't you
now,
mention the rocks being red, white, and black and all that, right?
mm-hmm, yep.
Because there's even pictures of that you got rocks all black here. Um, then there's other pictures. This is like from that same video. That guy, you got the black, red, and then the white. I think is also part of the whole salt being out there. You know, I think even
I
after
think
the
that's
fact.
part of it too. Yes.
You know, you can see all that white all from the outer rings, and that's where they say the salt water laid. You can
Now,
even see where all of that could have washed out towards the east, you know?
exactly. Yeah,
And
you can
then
see
it
the
looked like it
remnants.
came up
Yeah.
over the mountains and washed everything out.
And people ask, well, what could cause that? Well, like you, when you first heard about Atlantis, you think it was swallowed by the sea.
Right.
Well, that that is correct. Atlantis was swallowed by the sea because if we look back at the destruction of Atlantis, they say the destruction of Atlantis happened 9,000 years before Solon. So we got to take into account how far away is that from us, which would come out to be 11,600 years ago. So 11,600 years ago is a significant date because there's another event that happened 11,600 years ago, and it's called Meltwater Pulse 1b. And that's when all the waters of the Ice Age melted within 100 years and rose sea levels 1,800 feet. And as we talked about earlier, this location, the Eye of the Sahara, is only 1,500 feet above sea level. So as sea levels rose, Atlantis would have been swallowed by the sea, just as described by Plato. So another thing that matches and fits. And if you don't know too much about the Meltwater Pulse 1b, it's also known as the Younger Dryas event. The Younger Dryas event covers a lot of the natural disasters that happened because of the Meltwater Pulse 1b. So it's
Oh,
actually the
yeah.
Meltwater Pulse 1b that
I don't know if you follow this guy, but Randall Carlson has been big on that. I got a lot of info. I used to watch him hardcore before I found Flat Earth. and he was all about the Younger Dryas event, and I learned a lot from that guy. He's actually he's even catching on to the whole idea of the geology being wrong, and the age of strata and all that stuff.
Yeah, I am familiar with Randall Carlson. I've listened to a lot of his stuff. I just haven't listened to it recently. But I
Yeah,
do need to
neither
go
have
back.
I.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, he's still doing his thing, man. I know that.
It's awesome. That's what happened was I got kind of caught up in the flat Earth, so I kind of abandoned some of
Right.
the Atlantis research for a while.
Right. I feel like there's me. I also agree. I feel like I need to go back and listen to him, because learning, the lay of the lands and stuff and what's going on out here, I think really helps with us figuring out what this place is or was,
Oh, I agree, man.
like I'm done with the whole idea, like, oh, he's a Globie, so he's not going to give me any right information. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to think like that,
Yeah, like we said earlier, you listen to what people have to say, you take the good from the bad, and then
That's
you
right.
fact check it, and then you expand upon it and do your own research, and that's how
Yep.
we all learn.
Yep. I like the way Dave Weiss says it. He's like, I'm here and I show you some doors, and it's, it's up to you whether you want to further that,
I mean, there were some things in school that we can take away. I mean, it wasn't all just nonsense, but it was mostly nonsense. But like you say, you take the good from the bad.
It's reverse engineered nonsense.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? So if we look back in history at all ancient religions, to this day, there's still pockets that worship those ancient religions. So one of the things people always ask is, hold on just a second. All right, is Atlantis were bull worshippers. So if we look in areas of Italy, we'll still find pockets of people that worship the old Roman gods. If we look in Greece, we'll find still pockets of people that worship the old Greek gods. So where are the bull worshippers? If Atlantis were bull worshippers, there should be a group of people, at least a small segment somewhere, that were still bull worshippers. So this is some information that no other researcher that talks about Atlantis has ever brought up, and it took me a while to find this. But there's a nomadic tribe in Mauritania known as the Peals, Peals, and the Peals worship a god named Gino, and the god Gino is the first holy bull. So the bull worshippers are still in this area, located right outside the Eye of the Sahara, or the Rikat structure, to this day. And I think that in itself is amazing, the fact that the religion has survived even till now.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
That's one of the things on the list of 31 that I could not check off, but now I'm there. All 31's done. We've got them all. There's nothing left. There's no denying that this is Atlantis, as Plato described it.
Yeah, when I was looking into it today, I found that the government had a top secret mission, like in 1967, right? And it got declassified, so there's all these papers out on it. And what their mission was is they were flying over all these different areas around the Earth, across the Earth, and studying geomagnetic anomalies. And where's the map at? So here's the map of all the places across this Earth plane that they were checking out for geomagnetic anomalies. And when they hit up the Eye of the Sahara, they start doing like zigzag patterns over it. I thought that was really weird. They used this plane here, called it Current Project Magnet Aircraft. Of course, provided by NASA. And so they were doing this over this. How do you pronounce that? The structure.
The Rikat structure, or we can just go with the Eye of the Sahara.
Eye of the Sahara. All right, but yeah, it's just funny. And then when you look into these the classifications of it and stuff, they declassify it, but they leave out so much stuff. Like they had this huge, like, blacked out part, and they left the first sentence. That's the only part you could read, was the first sentence. So I just find that a little weird that they were doing that.
More and more gravy, brother. Speaking of maps, you want to pull the map up of Herodotus?
Yeah, yeah. Where's it at? Here we go. I
So
got
this
two
is
of
the
them.
other.
I
Okay.
got
Oh,
this one.
hmm
It circles where the Sahara, I guess, would be. And then where's the other
okay.
one you just sent me? Man. Go ahead.
This one here is my favorite one. I also like at the top there where it says Europa, which comes from the Phoenician word Eidos, which means the land in which the sun fades away. So, little history for you: the etymology of the word Europe or Europa, meaning not a sunset, but where the sun fades away. But if
Hell
you look on
yeah.
this, if you look on this map, one thing you're going to notice is the Nile River. The Nile River runs north to south, and then it runs east to west. And if you follow the Nile River towards the end, up into the west of the end of the Nile River, you'll see a city that's named there, and that city is named is Atlantis. The exact location of the recap structure, as provided to us by Herodotus, who mapped the known world at the time. So another piece of the puzzle, and for him, thousands of years ago. I mean, this map was made in 440 BC, so you're talking about 2,500 years ago. He marked the exact spot that we know Atlantis to be today, and I just think that's incredible.
Yeah, it is. Most definitely, dude. This is some fascinating gravy, dude. Dishing it
Now,
out.
Plato talked about being able to travel. Egypt was a colony of Atlantis. Like when I talk about Atlantis, well, for right now, purpose of finding Atlantis, we're talking about the capital city because that's what Plato described. But he expanded upon it, and he talked about how big Atlantis actually was. And it's going to blow your mind. I'll go over some of those numbers here in a minute, but I just want to point out that you could travel from Atlantis to Egypt by river. Well, what do you see here? The Nile River, and you could hop on the Nile there, ride it on over to Egypt. And Egypt at the time had more advanced technologies and stuff. So where do you think they got it from? Right there in Atlantis. Which, as we progress the story of Atlantis, I'll go over some of that as well about where
I
it's
feel
at.
like they had
Let's
the
talk.
technology to even like change the flow of the river, you know?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because throughout history, you see going all these different, it's north and south, east and west, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Uh, and then I got a question though. Do you think that Atlantis has any correlation with what some of us, the researchers, would call like Tartaria?
I
Like, do
think
you
that
think that could be Tartaria, or is like the leftover of the Atlantis Empire, maybe?
yeah. So when I talk, that's usually what I conclude with. But I did a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
research into
sorry.
what happened. What happened? No, you're good, man. We're gonna jump all over all over the place, as long as everybody can follow with us.
Yeah,
Um,
that's how we
so
do.
what happened? What happened to the people of Atlantis after Atlantis fell, or it was swallowed by the sea? Plato says something that is very fitting that we should all remember. He says that Atlantis ceased to wear its prosperity with moderation. Now, if we look at that sentence, what's that mean to me and you nowadays? What is prosperity? It's not just wealth, but it's the things that we have, like the advancements in technologies, just like they had then. Um, if you do not use your advancements in technology in moderation, you're not you've started to cease to wear your prosperity with that moderation, such as, let's say, a cell phone is invented. Now, instead of just using it for maybe some research purposes or some entertainment every now and then or something, now we have cell phones in our hand, you know, almost every moment of free time. I mean, we all have the family members that sit in front of the TV, and they also have their cell phone in their hand. They're playing games and doing other stuff. And not only are they being indoctrinated by the TV, they're constantly ceasing to wear that prosperity with moderation because it's a constant use of that technology. They're not even going outside and exploring the world we live in anymore. They've become satisfied in that rut in their life where all this technology and these comforts comfort them to the point where discovering new things and learning no longer comforts them. So, what happened to the people of Atlantis? Well, what you'll see is in a place called Göbekli Tepe, there was a hunter-gatherer society that lived there up until 11,600 years ago. Wow, so another significant date there. And what happens when you're a hunter-gatherer society is that you spend all your time looking for food. You don't have time to learn. You don't have time to build infrastructure. But what happened was, in a 20-year period, it became the birthplace of agriculture, where all agricultural started. So this is where they kind of start altering history a little bit, where they talk about this area being the birthplace of agriculture, because we all know that Atlantis had agriculture before Göbekli Tepe. But if you have a society that is hunter-gatherer that spends all their time gathering food and not building an infrastructure, to 20 years later, you have massive temples that are made with 50-ton blocks. It is the location of the world's first north-south directly aligned building. So what that's called is a transfer of technology. So that transference of technology could only be done by a more advanced civilization moving to an area where a lesser advanced civilization currently presided. And that's what you saw over a 20-year period, was the Atlanteans moving to that area, bringing all their technology, bringing that agriculture. And then it just became an agricultural boom. And now that you only have to spend maybe 4 or 5 hours outside, tending your field and growing your crops, you have a lot of free time to build infrastructure, and you have a lot of free time to get out and learn. And that's how you actually build a city or build a society, because you have the free time to actually get out and explore things. And as you were talking about Tartaria, yes, it would only make sense that if you look at the ancient maps where Tartaria is located, and then you look at where Atlantis is located, and you draw that diagonal line between Atlantis and Tartaria, it's basically a direct diagonal line to there that cuts through Göbekli Tepe. So it's almost like the Atlanteans were migrating, stopped for a while in Göbekli Tepe, then continued on and carried that advanced civilization over to Tartaria. And then, of course, all that's just wiped from history. But they like to keep the spot in Turkey with Göbekli Tepe and say, all right, well, this is the birthplace of agriculture.
Hell yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. All that stuff, I wouldn't even know where to begin with the Tartare, but I do think that there is a correlation between that and things like Atlantis, and even things like what Randall Carlson is looking into, I think if like we were to put all this kind of stuff together, we'd be able to get a better picture of what our history is all about, because there was obviously some type of catastrophe that happened, not like in just one central location, but in a bunch of different locations,
Yeah, it was definitely playing wide. Every ancient religion talks about a time, and it all dates back to 11,500 years ago. Some people talk about it as the time before the moon, when the moon was brought here and caused a great upheaval. Um, but I mean, religious texts are what they are. When someone can't understand something, they create a story or a parable to explain it to people. But you look at the Aborigines in Australia, you look at the Zulu in Africa, you look at the Sumerians, and the Hopi Indians in North America. Their ancient religions go back to a point in time of 11,600 years ago when a great flood happened. And that coincides right there with the Bible as well. That great flood that happens. So all the ancient religions talk about that great flood. And I believe that it was what destroyed Atlantis, because it falls right within the timeline that Plato described. What do you think about that, Austin?
I think that's some fucking gravy. It's another. I think your checklist is more than what was it, 30? Where we at, 31?
Yeah, 31. But I mean, there's so much more that can be expanded upon outside of Plato's dialogues, that we see the events just line up, and we can
Right.
make those correlations today, you know, many years after Plato wrote his dialogues. So even 2,000 years, or what, about 2,400 years later, because Solon was in 620 BC. That's when he visited Egypt. So we were talking about 2,400 years later, and we're still making discoveries. So I think the story of Atlantis will be expanded upon outside of Plato, but you just have to be careful about between what's speculation and what's fact.
Yeah, very true. It's all about discernment, you know.
Hmm.
That's for sure.
You want to? One thing I've never talked about is the size of Atlantis. Is that something you would want to get into?
Yeah, bro, whatever you want to get into, man, for sure.
All right. So Plato goes down and gives a very, very detailed description in Timaeus of um, the size of Atlantis' military. Now, to compare that, let's look at the United States military today. It has 1.5 million soldiers. Um, the Egyptian military during its height, during Ramses, had 100,000 soldiers. So compare that to the United States. So if we have 330 million people here in the United States and we have 1.5 million soldiers, you're talking about what's that? About one out of every 300 and about one out of every 200 people are in the military per se. So if you say if 100,000 people, like in Europe, are in their military and it's one out of every 200, you're talking about a population of Egypt at the time of around 200 million. So I I think that the people were actually conscripted into the military at a greater rate than they are now because we have a lot of technology to assist our troops. So even if we look at it, let's say 100 million or 50 million people, I think 50 million people would be an accurate um, way of looking at the size of Egypt at the time. But if you compare that to Atlantis, and we look at Atlantis' military, Plato said it had 1,200 ships, 800,000 foot soldiers, 200,000 horsemen, 10,000 chariots. And we look at and we extrapolate that with the population in the U.S. and use that rate, you're talking about a population for the Empire of Atlantis that had over 400 million people. So I believe that Atlantis was much, much larger than what we even think that the Empire of Atlantis could be. I believe it stretched all the way from
Wow.
maybe the Bimini Road. Like Atlantis had colonies everywhere, not just Egypt. So all these
Right.
places that people say, "Hey, this might be Atlantis," think of it more of that's not the capital city of Atlantis. That might be a part of the civilization of Atlantis. That might be part of the colony.
Right.
Just like the United States, people if a million years from now and people or would be looking back at the history of the United States and then they go, oh wait a minute, there's some out here in the Pacific, that what's this over here? These islands, Well, we know, of course, nowadays, well, the United States does have islands over there, Hawaii, and that is part of the empire of the United States, just like the empire of Atlantis would have, trading posts and military presence all over, because any type of great empire is going to have all these strategic locations all over the place in order to facilitate trade and your moving of your military and things like that. So I do believe that some of these other things that researchers point to saying this is Atlantis, they are technically correct because it's part of the empire of Atlantis, but just not technically the capital city.
Yeah, and another thing I was thinking, like, because I keep thinking about this declassified document of studying the geomagnetic anomalies, and it's like I wonder if these points, they have them set up a certain way, and it's like it's like even a type of technology. They're using these Earth systems as their means of, like, say, electricity, or the way they had their water system set up, and then it's going along all these ley lines across the Earth. Thank you, James. So I guess I am live on Rockfin now, guys. So I got it figured out. Just letting y'all know, throwing it out there. We are live on Rockfin for the very first time. So it is official. Tommy, you're the first guest on Rockfin. You're the first
All
guest
right.
again.
Live again with the slickest of the slicks the first time, brother.
Hey, that's real. So yeah, but yeah, I'm just thinking, like, with all these magnetic anomalies, you know, it's like they knew that, building something there, like, is important. And then you follow all these other anomalies, and then it's like lining up with, pyramids and stuff like that, It's just it's like we really are on this, like, grid system, It's pretty fascinating.
Speaking of grid systems, Atlantis actually. So now I'm going to leave the city of Atlantis and talk about the empire of Atlantis. And Plato describes two things with that, and this is also on the list of 31. To the south of Atlantis, there was a plain. It was rectangular in shape, but oblong on one side and being triangular. And we can look on the map and we'll see that there is a plain to the south of Atlantis, rectangular in shape, oblong on one side, being triangular. So that's there. And then also to the north of the mountains, Plato talks about a plateau that's there. And that plateau is still present to this day. So two more pieces to the puzzle there on that list of 31 that I forgot to go over. But when you were talking about the grid system, Atlantis was actually divided up outside the city into 60,000 lots. Now, 60,000 lots, once again, just shows you how vast an empire Atlantis actually was. And each of these lots was 18.5 kilometers each. So imagine that basically is almost a small, like, you got a town, basically, right there. And 60,000 of these towns. And that's how it was divided up into a grid system. And Plato goes into a large description of the 100-foot wide canals across the plain that connected the ditch at every 18.5 kilometers and created this grid system. And one, and let's see, the oblong ditch to the south was 100 feet deep, and you can still see that ditch that leaves the south of Atlantis, and then feeds that plain to the south. That it was 10,000 stadia in length. So that just once again reiterates how big Atlantis' empire actually was, and it even follows the patterns of the seasons to this day of the rains in the summer and how the streams left the mountains, and you can still see those remnants of those streams coming from the mountains and the way that those streams flowed. And Plato talked about that and how that the water from those mountains and those streams fed these canals and gave water to the empire of Atlantis and just really helped the agriculture. And I'm not going to go into a lot more in depth of what the canals and all look like, but it's just wanted to show you once again how big Atlantis actually was.
It's an empire, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Empire. A lot of gravy, dude. That's a lot of great stuff. We also we had some great conversations at Flattoberfest about sonic booms. It even carried around, like Cammy got involved, and then Bob got, he asked Bob about it, and then Zach's it was great. It was like a little tiny little think tank. You know what I mean? I thought that was really fascinating, and I really want to get into that. But do you mind if we take a break?
Yeah, we can take a break, brother. I'd like to have a break.
All right, cool.
You can
cool.
play. I've got a couple of videos I sent you if you want to throw one of those up. Some exclusive content for the show.
Yeah. Actually, I want to play those together because I want to talk about them. I'm going to play a song and then we'll get into those videos and all that because I want to bring up what you're doing and how it started and all that because, the video I played at the beginning with the Kakalaki crew, there's a picture where it's just you and it says, "Ask me about flat Earth." And now it's a crew, bro, and it's so fucking cool. So I really want, if you don't mind, I'd like for you to get into that when we get back, and then we can show some of the other videos that you sent me. Is that cool?
All right, 100%, brother. Let's take a break.
All right, bet. All right, so thank you everybody for being here. Let me do a quick shout out before we go on break. We got Jeremy. I want to know more. What's up, brother? We got Jason M. Star. What's up? Call for Zero. Kelly Jelly, hello. Faye, much love, Faye. And Mary, Angela, what's up? What's up, girl? That's my homie right there, her and Sean. I just sent your shirts out today, guys. Everybody's shirts have been sent out today, and thank you. We're sold out of the roster right now. I gotta wait for more in the mail, but not more shirts, but more product to make the shirts. We make them all at our house. If for anybody who's watching on Rockfin and this is your first time, all the MellowDome shirts get made by my wife at the house. Mary, much love. Joe, what's up, brother? Dawn, Ariel, True Seeker. Yo, your last two videos was really cool. You're doing a great job. Like, you got me smiling ear to ear the whole video. Great video. Both of them. Guys, go check out her channel. And she's going to be kicking it with you too, Tommy, right? He probably stepped away. Jonathan, what's up, bro? Who else we got here? Tommy, tell the truth. I'm glad that a lot of you guys found my backup channel. I knew it wasn't going to be everybody, but it is what it is. I was able to work that out. Grounded Extracts, what's up, James? I was able to work that out. They approved one of the appeals for one of the videos, so I'm not down for 3 months. I'm down for a week. I don't even know if it changed or if that's what it was. Or if it's so vague, dude. They're so vague with you. It's annoying. So let me do a little shout out on Rockfin for the first time. Chris from South Jersey, Mary, Ariel Truth Seeker. Whoa. Holy shit, I didn't know that. Shane, much love, Shane. Thank you so much. I didn't realize it was that much. Holy shit. Mary, thank you so much. Karen B, what's up? What's up? Brian Staples, what's up, bro? Hey. Ryan, what's up? What's up? What's up? Oh, y'all, the best. Ariel, what's up? Thank you for that. So, yeah, okay. So, everybody, hang out. We're going to get back into some more gravy. We're going to talk about what Tommy does, all the activism he does, and all the great stuff that the Kakalaki crew does. We're also going to get into sonic booms. I know you guys don't really know what we're talking about when we say sonic booms, but you guys will get it when we get into it. It's going to be great. It's a great mind opener, you know, thinking past the bullshit. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Like, why, when you got one case for like, why would they lie? That's my thing, is that I would like to a explanation of one way or the other, so that I'm more informed if I were to be, you know, asked for anything else.
Why would they lie? 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 Why would they lie?
I know you've been hating this, but how about that radius, huh? What is he saying though? Broken geometry. Okay. I just pointed out, now you're at hominy. Went to your mommy be trucking and driving, Globers be wildin'. They went out of style. 8 inches per mile squared, never been measured out in the wild. Why would they lie? That's what they cry when it just can't be denied. Defending the government, slave to your die. You ain't got no reply.
That stuff is flat.
Who told you that? Like I can't trust my eyes? There ain't no curvature, and the swan is black. But nice try.
Why would they lie? 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 Why would they lie?
Once you go flat, matter of fact, you never go back, you never go back.
Why would they lie? Why would they lie? Why would you ask such a question? Coming here crying to ask why they're lying? Dude, may I make a suggestion? It seems to me in your mind that you could use some introspection. Instead of advancing your thinking, you're headed straight to a sad state of regression. People keep thinking it's our job to find them the model that they've been requesting. Meanwhile, they're walking around every day in the world never ever suspecting that the very own senses a human possesses have never attested. Something that's absolutely and completely reversed to the world manifested. How can you think that a person like me could take someone like you even serious? Why would they lie? Why would they lie? Bro, are you fucking delirious? How can we even engage in a true conversation if we can't surpass this? I'm gonna need you and your little fundy friends to pull their heads out their asses. Why would they lie? Are you fucking high? You really gotta be kidding me. The world that you've known, all on its own, has been nice and flat since the beginning, see? No 8 inch per mile square, that's why y'all scared to have this become mainstream. So as a result, we transform into nightmares, waking folks from the daydream. So proceed to ask why they are lying without verifying your story. And at the end of the day, maybe all I can say is that y'all fucking bore me. Why would they lie? Can't even deny. You're sounding just like a baby. Maybe a hero is all that you need. Maybe else somebody save me.
Globe abortion, all applauding. Cheers, big heads, small, enormous. From cradle to grave shall be like tortoise. NASA Tower lies every day is exhausting. Nothing more boring than the stream they recorded. Yeah, that looks real, is that a joker talking? Composite my nuts is not a bore, you foreskin. Ignoring, distorting the facts with their stories. Entering your mind irrespective of a warrant. To say levels curve we expect from a zealot. Spherical excess, now we don't want it. Delusional puppet digesting the stomach. Without any warning, hick on the shoremen. Are you a moron who's not that important? Similar to Karen, always reporting. Endorsing the fraud and effects without cause. Manifest force from a pseudo source. Reversing the curse of what you've been taught. They've been rehearsed in the dirt, but they still fall short. Imaginary planetary alignment coincide with space warp. At astronauts, monetary paid for. Submerged in the water while they claim that they orb. It's a circus show, clown circle in the globe. Why would they lie? Obvious the creator. If the glove don't fit and the earth don't turn, that's a whole lot of that they have to learn with the horizon swan. We eliminate the curve. All our eyes are on only what we can observe. Global lies are wrong, what they're hiding flatter. Keep my spies like on hide for the research. You rely upon priest and pirate like a bird. With your lying blood, preach religion like a church. How should they die? How should they die? Why would they lie? Why would they lie?
Why would they lie? Why would they try? I got the math and science on my side. I'm running circles, it's easy as pie. Your reification is all falsified. The education is all just a lie. No need to replace it. All I need is you to face it. All I got is time and you just wasted. This is a gift staring you in the faces. Where you gonna get the truth from if not from us? Then who you dum-dum? Made the bed of your demise and chose to sleep to count the sheep since 9 to 1-1. Never been a fight, a fact, a life, a choice of wrong and right that I would never run from. State the truth, defend the youth and stop the coup. It's just a job that got to get done. Why would they lie? Why would they lie? Why would they lie? Santa was real, the fairy was real. Why mama lie? My brother died, healthcare was bad. Why mama cried? The system is broke, your son is woke. I'm setting this shit on fire.
Why would they lie? 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 Why would they lie?
Why would they not? The plot and derive by watching the sky and they know it's a clock. They picking both sides and listen with lies. The people pretend that they pick who they got. The people divide and then they disguise and now they devising a plot. You ask why they lying from behind closed eyelids. You disguising an iris that's lifeless. You're denialist, but this lie is why you're a nihilist. Guess you're lying for the pride then. They enticing the brightest to get deprived in contrived confinement. Lie about what the meaning of life is. Get a degree in a 9-to-5 shift. Only way that you'll survive this. What's that mean? They have to bribe them. Yeah, it's tragic, their only tactic when the model under attack is asking where a map is. If they lied about the earth, what you even asking? Weaving past them, leaving blasting. Everything you believe is backwards. Occult belief is practice, that's what they achieve in masses. Yeah, it matters, you believe what matters. Massive incoherent magnets have a weak attraction, that's electrostatics. They always invert it backwards, wonder what's the verdict, pastors. Religious zealots preaching, talking past us. Sent a blitz right up the middle, who can block the fastest? Falsify the radius, you cannot walk right past it. Yeah, they truly think they got the masses, but God's got the backing, so they can't stop what happens.
Why would they lie? 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 OG. Why would they lie? I tell you why. They don't want to see you survive. They don't want to see you get live. Love on your queen till you hire you some kids and provide. They don't want to see you revive. Take an L, then come back harder than ever besides. Packing that hammer on side. I cannot help it, bro. Second Amendment on mine. They won't label you a felon. That way you can't get your hands on protection. That way they come in and fake an election. If they want Caesar white sets, you can't stop or arrest them. That way the hood is simply a reflection of the design that they predestined. If you don't like it, they pop off your top like your last name was Kennedy in Dallas, Texas.
Yo, that song is fire. All right.
Yeah, that song
There,
is
brother?
definitely fire, brother. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
When Austin comes in and hits that verse there towards the end, it just brings it
dude.
home, brother. It's so good.
Electrostatics, dog. I'm like, yo, he did. Like, people don't even know what that fucking means, you know? And he just killed it, dude. That whole verse is sick. I love it, man. He's doing great. He's doing great, man. Great work. Shout out to Austin Whitsitt, man.
For real, man. Like
He was down there kicking it. He was kicking it with you at the flea market too, right?
yeah, he come out there one day, part of his U.S. tour in the Clown World. No, not the Clown World. The
The
Masquerade.
Masquerade tour.
Yeah, the Masquerade tour, and it's just so awesome hanging out with him. He's doing exactly what I wish that I could do, and that in early 2000, right before all the nonsense started, where actually a lot of people say that that's when before the nonsense started, but before they elevated the nonsense right to the next
Right.
level. But
Right.
we did the 9 cities, and that was just so awesome. I took all my vacation time and at work and put it together, and we hit 9 cities in 10 days, and it was just so refreshing just to get out there every day and speak truth. 9 out of 10 days, and I couldn't imagine just keep going and going like Austin did. Just what a feeling that's got to be to get out there and travel the entire United States and just flat smack everybody all over the entire country. Like I was only able to flat smack in Phoenix and in San Francisco last year. I was in West Virginia and Atlanta, a few places here and there that I would travel to and do some flat smack in Las Vegas. But Austin he's on another level, man. I admire what he does so much, and he's got it down too. Like he can get it down condensed in about 30 minutes, man. It's so awesome.
Oh yeah, dude, smart dude, man, for real. I'm happy for him too. And you know, the creator is looking out for him because now look at him. He got a pretty lady that got a good head on her shoulders. You know, it seems like they're vibing really good. He's a happy dude, and he's waking people up all the time. And Chris is a great guy too, man. Nobody sees him a lot. He's the driver and stuff, the bodyguard. You know, he's a great guy too. I love those guys.
Yeah,
but
I love them too, man.
If you don't mind, I'd like for you to share a little bit of your story. How that idea, you know, that picture of you by yourself, and it says, "Ask me about flat Earth." It's just one little sign on a table. But then now you go out there, there's people cooking, whole group of people, peace and love out there, you know, waking people up, you know. You want to share that, how that came to be? I would love for you to share it.
Yeah, it was very synchronistic. Like it was so, the way it came together was so awesome. I went to Flattoberfest, the very first one, and Josh was speaking about doing activism and how important it was to get out there. And I'm not big in just going out in the public and talking to people. In fact, first Flattoberfest, many of y'all probably didn't even know I was there. I didn't talk to really anybody. I'm a pretty shy person out in the public. But his speech was kind of the kick in the pants that I needed to get out there. And I just said, you know, I've done the research, but this isn't like Atlantis or any other research that I've done in the past. The lie is too big. It's time to get out there and do something about it. And so the next Saturday after Flattoberfest, I went out, rented a table at the flea market for $15. I went to the UPS store and had that little sign made up that said, "Ask me about flat Earth." And I just had an empty table with that sign that said, "Ask me about flat Earth," and I just stood behind it. I didn't say free information, nothing like that. I had a couple little pieces of paper, maybe like 20 of them printed out with some things that you could observe for yourself to prove that the Earth is not a globe. But it was really awesome being out there and being out in front of people. And not many people stopped by and asked me questions. They just walked by and laughed a lot. But some people stopped by and asked questions. And that really motivated me to get going more. And one of the people that I met at the first Flattoberfest is my brother from another mother, Dr. La. And he called me and asked, "Hey, man, how'd the flea market go? Did you enjoy doing activism?" I said, "Yeah, man, I did." And he said, "Well, I'm going to be out at the soccer fields on Saturday. You want to meet up, have a meetup?" And besides, you know, Flattoberfest, I'd never done a meetup. And I said, "It's really weird that you want to meet up out at the soccer fields because I'm already going to be there Saturday too for my little nephew's soccer game. And La's son was going to be out there for the soccer game. So we were already going to be in the same place at the exact same time." And
you mean Dr. Apollo?
Yeah, Dr. Apollo.
Shout
Yeah.
out, brother, if you're
Talk to
watching.
him.
Much love, man.
Oh man, he's just such a great guy. And that
He
first
is,
time that
dude.
we had that meetup out there at the soccer fields, and we talked about it. From that point forward, when I went to the flea market, he was right there beside me. There's not too many times that I've
That's
gone out and
awesome.
done activism where he's not there. Some of the stuff people haven't seen us do is like we'll go to like Walmart, and we'll just walk around the parking lot in Walmart, and when people are unloading their groceries when they're done, we're like, hey, you want us to take your cart back for you? I mean, just a service we could do to somebody, and they're always like, yeah, sure, that'd be awesome. Take my cart back for me. And Walmart's
Dude,
not going to
that's
come out
so
there and stop us
amazing,
from.
dude.
And what we'll do is when we take their cart back, we're like, hey, we're glad you appreciate us taking the cart back and all. And if you ever want to, if you have some free time and you like to read something, we'll just hand them a flyer. We don't really go out there and promote Flat Earth, but we just want to do
Right.
something good for people, and in return, they're more likely to have an open mind because we have such a negative connotation as flat earthers out there. But
Right.
we make the approach that what can we do to make a difference in the community, whether it's going out and picking up trash along the side of the roads with a bunch of flags talking about flat earth, or just going out in parking lots and taking buggies back to corrals for people. Just doing good in the community, making people happy, seeing smiles in their faces. That's what it's all about, and that's what they're trying to hide anyway, is all these smiles lately.
Right,
And
man. Right. I
after
love
we,
that idea of helping people, man. Like I seen you guys were out picking up trash on the side of the road and you had flat earth flags and stuff like, dude, that was so cool, bro. Like how like that's like leading by example. You're helping out your community. You're being a part of the community, and then everybody driving by is seeing that. That's all they need. That's all they need to plant that seed. And then who knows, later down, it's like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that on a flag on the side of the road. It's like, let me look into this. There's people picking up trash, like just anything. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just,
it's
I just think that's so cool, man. So that's a great thing.
one of the things I live by is just be the change you want to see. A lot of people talk about it, but I
But they
I
ain't
sit
be
up at
about
night.
it. I tell you, dog, I live by that now, bro.
Yeah,
You gotta change. To make a change, you have to be the change, bro. I'm a living
yeah.
example for that. But yeah, sorry I cut you off.
Oh man, you're good. It's all good. Just keep it flowing here in the MellowDome, vibing off each other. Man, it's just such a
Hell
great
yeah,
thing to be a part of this community. And I'm going
it
to tell you a
is.
story about Flattoberfest that I don't think many people know about. This is something that happened, and I'm going to leave the names out of it. But after the second day of Flattoberfest, I went back to the hotel right afterwards, and there wasn't many people there. And I was sitting at a table with Free Flow, and a guy walked up. I'm just going to not say his name, but he's like, "Man, I'm feeling real sick. I think something's wrong with me." And he kept talking for a little bit, and he'd like trail off like the middle of his sentences, and he's like, I feel like I'm gonna die. Something's really wrong with me here. And I was like, you all right, brother? And then he just passes out there in his chair, right there in the hotel where we were all met up afterwards, right outside there. And I made a phone call to Dr. Law. Within 3 minutes on site, we have a doctor, a paramedic with all their stuff, um, and a paramedic's assistant, all there attending to the guy. And another person brought fruit and vegetables and stuff over. That when he came to, that they were giving him fruits and vegetables and different foods to eat. And I was like, man, it's just so great to be a part of this community because where
And
else
they
can
were
you
all flat
go?
earthers.
It's all flat earthers just showed up, like a paramedic with his full supplies, uh, which was Richard Lopez, and his wife assisting him there, and then you got Dr. Lai just shows up. So I mean,
Amazing.
doctors and paramedics just showing up. Like, what other community can you possibly be in where that something like that happens? Man, that just really brings it home. Just like Young Love just said, we are the best.
That's right, baby. We motherfucking dudes, dog. Yeah, I love that, dude. See, that's what it is, man. We're all, it's just good people, wanting to have a good time and questioning the world around them. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about, dude. This community
And
is amazing. I love being a part of it. This community is, welcome me with open arms. and it's been a great journey. You know, I love every bit of it.
100%. Yeah, that's something I never
Like, look at
in this journey.
yeah, like look at Ariel. She's brand new to it, and you know everyone's welcoming her with open arms, and I'm sure she's loving every bit of it. You can see it on her face when she's making her little videos and stuff. You know, it's cool. I love it. I love watching that.
It's gonna be great hanging out with her this weekend. We're meeting up this Saturday at the flea market. We got a bunch of people coming out, and it's gonna be her first time coming out, hanging out with us because she lives right here in the area. So that's gonna be amazing.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude. I'm gonna be out there one day. I will.
And we coming to you. We're coming to you.
Hey, that's real. That's real. If I should like try and. I mean, there's flea markets out here. You know, I could just go out there with my boys and start something that way. You know.
Yeah. I'm actually sending some flyers out to another group that's starting out west. So, the thing about the flea market that's so awesome is that the people come to you. You're not out harassing people. You're not running people down. They're going to walk by your table and then go, wait a minute, what's this? So if you got something that catches their eye, like a couple models or demonstrations, or like we did with the wall of iPads with videos, I mean, you don't have to go that crazy with it. That's just me going crazy when I get into something. But I was like, all right, you guys want to see videos? All right, I'll make a wall of iPads with all the videos. And then anytime you have a question, I'm not just going to tell you about it. You're going to see it too. So I get to when someone asks me a question or asks to see something and I can't replicate it right there in front of them, I'm like, well, how can I do that? And that's just where the Kakalaki crew gets better. From that second time where it was me and Dr. La, and then the third event, there was 9 people out there. Then the next event, we had 20-something people. And then the one after that, it was like just 3 of us. And then we had the biggest one ever. I think we had 31 people come out there at the flea market. It was insane. With 5 tables full of stuff with all kind of models and banners and flags. It's just crazy. We got 2 tents now. We got grills. We even had like 5 tables out there one time, as you saw in that video at the beginning of your show. It's just crazy. Everybody comes out there, and one of us is never going to know it all. But the thing about being as a part of a group is any question that someone has, they're going to be somebody there that can either answer it or point them in the right direction. And that's just what it's all about, because it was kind of scary, you know, being out there the first time by myself, because I knew for a fact I don't have all the answers. So what if they're going to ask me one of those questions about something that I don't know about, and then I'm going to be stuck and just look, oh, that's one of them crazy flat earthers. He doesn't even have any answers for what he's out here even talking about. So I just love to be part of the community, man.
Hell yeah, dude. That's for sure. So I'm gonna bring up which video you're wanting me to bring up first. By the way, I got the rap battle, or I can play that Kakalaki crew video again, and then I have that intro, the Flattoberfest intro.
Yeah, that's something we made for Karen that I haven't shared on my channel, so we can watch that if you want.
Hell yeah. Okay. I'm gonna bring it up. Here it is. Sorry guys. So yeah, this was a video made for Flattoberfest.
Yeah, and what was special about this video is each line was written by a different member of the Kakalaki crew, and then we composed it all together into a song. So.
Oh, nice. All right, let's check it out.
This is Flattoberfest. GG. You already know what it is.
Hold on, I'm gonna play it this way. It'll play better. Sorry guys, here we go.
This is Flattoberfest. GG. You already know what this is. Alright. Let's go. We the crew that never settle for less. We the best. Putting the proof to the test as we stay on the quest. So hey, welcome to Flattoberfest, where we keep it 100%, cause this the realest event. We don't lose track of the ship when it hits the horizon. We got the extra zoom that keeps us riding. We know all about the Photoshop. No NASA animations can make us stop. All them lies we see right through, and we spreading the word, cause that's how we do. Yeah, we know why the atmosphere don't flow into outer space, and it's them facts that put a smile on our face. That's why this a gathering of like-minded people. In the eyes of the Creator, we are all created equal. So be the change you want to see. Be the change for you and me, cause our connection is the key to unlock the truth of our planetary. And a big thanks to Karen B for hosting the event. From us, the Kakalaki crew, cause we looking at the world through a true view. Yeah, cause you are now in the mix at Flattoberfest.
Hey, that was fire, bro.
For real. That's one of the things we talked about, is the Kakalaki crew. What other types of activism can we do? It's not all about just getting on the street. It's about coming to people and relating to them, and then bringing Flat Earth to them through what they already love to do. So I'll get on either Discord or different apps like Fiverr, for instance, and I'll talk to different people on Fiverr back and forth in chat, and then I'll say, hey, you want to make something about Flat Earth, you know? And they'll say, well, what's this Flat Earth, you know? A lot of people never heard of it. And then I'll talk back and forth to them about Flat Earth, and then I'll say, just look into it for a couple weeks. And if you'd like to make a song about it, or you do a video with me, or you want to make some animations or something for the kids, which we got coming up soon. We got a 1 hour puppet show with Cookie Monster and Elmo and all kinds of different puppets, Kermit and all. We're just talking to people all over the plane, and just even through magic tricks and stuff, and they're looking into Flat Earth and then producing the material, because now that's something they've looked into. They've seen the truth. And Mike and the boys down here at Broadcast Kings, I don't even have to say, hey, would you make a video about ships going over the horizon? I'll be over like, hey, let's do a video about Flat Earth. All right, bro, I got you 2 days. And they'll have a puppet show. So it's about kind of expanding the community.
I love it.
And a lot of stuff that we kind of do behind the scenes, I don't talk about unless I'm doing like an interview like this. But I'll like promote some of the stuff on the channel. But I don't feel like that's really my channel per se. It's just the combined efforts of the community and all the people across the plane that never really have a voice. And I feel like my channel is like that conduit for their voice, where they can get out and share their beliefs and the things they've learned and what they know about. And I'm just really happy to have a lot of people sub the channel, and I can share that conduit of wealth of information with everyone around us.
Yeah, man, that's great, dude. You have a great channel. A lot of great content on there. I love it.
Thank you, brother.
I have one more. The rap battle. Yeah, the rap battle. Y'all gotta check this out. This is fire too. It's hilarious too. All right.
It's time for a battle. Teacher versus student.
Now listen here, Timmy. I want you to know the earth is round and we call it a globe. We stick to the earth because of gravity. It's what surrounds you and me. There's books and pictures for you to see. From outer space, Earth's round as can be.
Sorry, Mr. Roundy, but your pictures are false. Photoshop created by the click of a mouse. Those books you talk about are made for the sheep. All your science is just killing the trees. Page after page of fantasy. and the rainforest is your casualty.
Now, Timmy, those trees are cut for a purpose. I mean, just look at the Earth's surface. If you look out at the open sea, you can see boats disappear slowly. That's because of Earth's curvature, because the world is circular.
Mr. Roundy, your eyes are old as shit, and that's something you need to really admit. So next time you stare into that ocean, take a telescope. It's like a magic potion. From there you can debunk your own words, and afterwards, you can stare at some birds.
Well, Timmy, that doesn't change the fact we have astronauts going round and back. They have live feeds, you can see their face, and there's a huge space station in space. What do you say to that, I ask? How do they pull off that task?
Mr. Roundy, have you ever heard of Hollywood? Check it out, it can do you some good. As for your space people, Dillio, why don't you have them zoom out the window? Let's see them focus on a plane in Australia. If it's flying backwards, is that strange to ya?
That's great. Oh, man.
Mike and the boys are so awesome.
Yeah, that is cool, dude. I love it. You know what? I really want to play that Kakalaki Crew one because that one hit me really good. Like, that one was great. I want to play that for the audience again.
All right, brother.
Yeah. So this one, I played this at the beginning of the show. People on Rockfin didn't catch it, obviously, because I couldn't figure out how to go live for the first half of the show. But this is basically what the Kakalaki Crew does, you know, everyday life for these guys. You know, these are really great guys. So let me hit play on this. And, you know, I'm like the unofficial member of the Kakalaki Crew. You know, I ain't been like hazed in or anything, you know, but, you know, I got one of them shirts. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, here we go.
Yeah, we'll get you in there one day, brother.
All right.
The world is flat.
Yeah, we are advocates and street activists, realists that are passionate. We don't fall for the lies. We know the news is inadequate. Spreading that information they choose. That's why we waking peeps up with the truth. Cause most don't know about the evil. That's why we go on the streets and talk to people. Spitting on facts about the flat earth. Undo the lies that been told since birth. From NASA to Photoshop. From the moon to the Hollywood flop. From the ice wall to the vacuum of space, we undo the atmosphere they put in place. That's Dr. Law, Chris, Calvin, and Free Flow. Captain Kirk Christo and that flat fellow. This the team, the squad, the Kakalaki Crew. Hitting the streets, letting people know what's true. Letting them see through a new view. A world they can live up to.
The world is flat, most don't know that. And that's a task across the map. Never lie and spitting facts on the track, bringing the truth back.
Yeah, cause the work must be done. We take it on, we don't run. No matter the obstacles, we there. Cause it's knowledge we share. Despite all the resentment, we stay to represent. To shine the light on those in need. To unlock the mind and be free. Cause this is more than trust. This is for the future of all of us. And that's why we continue to grow. All our sisters and all of our bros. Ted, Brian, Eric, Just Jack, Greg and Christy, Daniel, Caroline, Scooter, and our rock star Karen B. All one with the Kakalaki Crew. And we in this to win this. Cause our vision is true.
The world is flat, most don't know that. And that's a task across the map. Never lie and spitting facts on the track, bringing the truth back.
Hell yeah, man. Love it.
Yeah.
That one hits, boy. That one
Yeah.
hits. I like it. So yeah, man. Big shout out to what you do, man. For real. It's good stuff, bro.
I appreciate it, man.
I really appreciate it.
I just couldn't do it with all the guys in the support, man. This community is so amazing, and to think that I was standing out there with a sign, 3 years ago, and then now, look where we're at. It's just crazy. Everybody's doing so much work behind the scenes that you guys don't even get to see every day. And
Right.
I mean, most people see David Weiss and doing these interviews and things like that, but what they don't see is the stuff that he's doing behind the scenes, especially for us. Like he's sending coffee table books, frisbees, um, thousands of business cards and stickers and stuff that we can put out when we do this activism. And it's the support of the community like that. We don't ever ask for money or donations, but if anybody wants to send anything for us to put out on the table and just hand out to people, thatflatfellow@gmail.com, just hit me up, and I'll give you an address to mail some stuff to, and we'll just put it out on the table. We got me and Austin Whitsitt and just Jack, we worked together, and we got the new flyers out. We stopped using the one that Flat Earth Flyers had out because it's been years now, and we want that new information out there. So got real lucky with that. Got 2,500 of the new flyers, and just can't wait to hand them out Saturday. It's going to be a big turnout.
Can we buy those anywhere? Can I get like?
Yeah, if you just email me, I'll just send them to you guys for free. You don't have to. Nobody has to worry about ever anything with money. I'll just mail you
I'll
guys
donate.
stuff,
I'll donate some money. How about that? How about I donate and you just send some? We'll do that.
How about I send you flyers? You send me back.
How about I get my ass up there? How about that?
we can trade flyers for a MellowDome shirt. How about that?
Okay, bet. Run it. We'll do that for sure. All right, so
custom made by your wife. That's so awesome.
That's right. That's right. I'll throw a Kakalaki crew on the back too.
Nice.
Hell yeah, that'd be dope. Bet. I'm writing that down right now. What size?
2X.
Bet. Done. And then I'll email you for the address.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So, what else were we getting into? Sonic booms. Let's run that. That right there to me. We had that conversation at Flattoberfest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, wow, because it's not like I realized like that the way you were thinking with, and after I'm done, you can explain what we're talking about here to everybody. But it's like you helped me connect so many dots because I was watching videos of these sonic booms of them returning, and I'm watching these videos that Joe Hill from F'd Up World was putting out, which he puts out great stuff, and he was making these videos about the sonic booms, and I just found it so fascinating, and then you come to Flattoberfest talking about that, and it's like, oh wow, and it's. So yeah, go ahead and let's talk about some sonic booms. What do you got for us?
All right, well let's just start at the basics. Like, what is a sonic boom? We experience sonic booms, many times throughout our life. Whether it's a crack of a whip, that's the first man-made sonic boom was a whip produces a sonic boom, or certain animals like crabs in the ocean, they clamp their pinchers so fast they produce a sonic boom that stuns fish.
Yeah, I forgot what that little crab's called. It's a little tiny. Sorry, my son's in the other room screaming. But it's like a little tiny crab, and it'll snap, and it's like so powerful. I wish I remember what that damn crab. Anyways, go ahead, Bo. Sorry.
Or if it's the sound of thunder, and the reason I bring that up is we've all been outside and we can tell how far away a storm is by. We'll see the lightning and then we'll hear the thunder later. We can count the seconds between seeing the lightning and hearing the thunder, and we can determine how far away a storm is. I'm sure we've all done something like that. So sonic booms is something that's a part of our lives, whether we realize it or not. And so let's talk about what produces a sonic boom. It's when an object travels faster than the speed of sound. So if an object at sea level, it's 761 miles an hour, produces a sonic a boom. That'll be Mach 1. That's the speed of sound. So if you're traveling, let's say 600 miles an hour, when an object is traveling at 600 miles an hour, you see the object, and then you hear that sound, right afterwards. And then, but when an object is traveling faster than the speed of sound, when it gets faster than that 761 miles an hour at sea level, you're gonna see the object traveling, and you're not gonna hear anything. And then finally, you'll hear that boom, because that's where it's broke the sonic, the barrier, the sound barrier, and it produces that conical wave that comes behind it, and that conical wave spreads in all directions. So if depending on the size of the object, the wave is bigger or smaller. And so if you're within that path of that conical wave, you're going to hear that sonic boom. Now, the reason why I keep saying at sea level is because altitude affects the speed of sound. And how is altitude affecting the speed of sound? Well, it, what is it, 30,000 miles, 30,000 feet up, the speed of sound is not 761 miles an hour. It's much lower than that. And the higher up you go, I think I gave you a chart, and it tells you, it shows like a relationship between, yeah, here it is right here, altitude and the speed of sound. So as you can see, the higher up you go in altitude, the speed of sound actually decreases. But that's kind of what everyone knows, because we know that the higher you go, that the speed of sound is lower. But it's not the height that's dictating that. It's actually the temperature. So when you look at this chart here, you'll see that once you get up there at 40,000 feet, the speed of sound remains the same, because the temperature doesn't continue to decrease. What happens is as you get higher, the temperature decreases up to a certain level. And one of the things that when you get up to 11 miles up, let's see, got a bunch of notes here. So temperature decreases with the increase in altitude up to 11 kilometers. Now, once you get up to 11 kilometers, the temperature actually increases slightly. So the speed of sound will increase as well. So once you do that, that creates what's called an acoustic shadow. An acoustic shadow is something that blocks sound. So if you are on the ground and there's an acoustic shadow between you and an object, you cannot hear the sonic boom anymore, because the sonic boom travels upwards, not downwards, because the acoustic shadow blocks and reverberates the sound in the other direction. So once an object is above 11 kilometers, you cannot hear the sonic boom anymore because of that acoustic shadow. And the acoustic shadow levels are not just at 11 kilometers up, also at 20 kilometers up. That's where the stratosphere begins, and you have another temperature increase there. So when you go from 11 kilometers up to 20 kilometers up, the temperature starts to decrease again. But when you get to 20, it increases slightly for a while, and then it actually decreases again until you get to 90 kilometers up, where the thermosphere is, and that's when you have another region of positive gradient. So all those acoustic shadows means that if a sonic boom is produced above that altitude, you'll never hear it. Now, a sonic boom can only travel in one direction. A sonic boom does not happen from supersonic to subsonic. It only happens when an object travels from subsonic to supersonic. So keep in mind that it's when that object speeds up and hits that, the speed of sound. So when we look at this chart right here, you'll see the Kelvin, and when you get down to 215 degrees Kelvin, you'll see that the speed of sound is way down. It's not that 761 miles an hour.
Oh, I lost him. What happened? No. Oh, man. So he'll be back on in a minute. He's saying that, and it's making me think about like the Falcon 9 rocket coming back down, slowing down. And we're still seeing that, hearing a sonic boom. That here he is. Lost you.
So, yeah, I lost signal there. I have to stay outside because I don't have a signal. I'm out in the middle of the country.
Okay.
So where I was I was talking about the degrees in Kelvin, and if you look at this chart here, you'll see it drops all the way down to about 660 degrees there on this chart, or excuse me, 660 miles an hour, just at 216 degrees Kelvin. So that small temperature decrease has affected the speed of sound by over 100 miles an hour. Now, they say that you cannot have sound in space because there's no medium of propagation. Now, one of the things in order to produce a sonic boom is you have to have what's called a medium of propagation, whether it be a gas, a liquid, or a solid. One of the things that's interesting about sound is it travels much faster through solids because the speed of sound is dictated by also density. So the more dense an object is, the faster the speed of sound will be. So like diamond, for instance, the speed of sound is 35 times faster through diamond than it is in our air. Or in like iron, it's multitudes times faster. It's also like 15 times faster through the water. So depending on the medium of propagation dictates also the speed of the sound. So you have to have a medium of propagation in order to produce sound. So they say there's no medium of propagation in space up until 2017 when they said the moon is inside Earth's atmosphere. So now that you've said that the moon is inside Earth's atmosphere and the Earth's atmosphere extends beyond the moon, you have provided us with a medium of propagation. Now you also tell us that the temperature in space is 2.7 degrees Kelvin. So just think about that scale. Just a slight dip in the Kelvin reduced the speed of sound by over 100 miles an hour. Now, if you drop it all the way down to 2.7 degrees Kelvin, the speed of sound is now so small that the slightest movement, like traveling at such a small speed, is going to produce a sonic boom. So one of the things that's missing in the moon landing footage is sonic booms because you have a medium of propagation that's present now, which they didn't count for back then. So where's all the sonic booms because you got to think those astronauts are jumping up and down on the moon in those. Of course, it's all hypothetical because we all know it's fake. But that's just another thing that debunks
Fake as fuck.
it debunks the entire moon landing because now they didn't account for that medium of propagation. So in a temperature environment of 2.7 degrees Kelvin, there should be sonic booms all over the place, and that's something you just don't hear. And I just think that's really, really fascinating. And we hear the sonic booms coming back at NASA when they're landing the space shuttles and all these rockets, and you hear these sonic booms. Well, another thing they don't account for is that what we discussed earlier is you have that one-way travel for the sonic boom. When an object is going from supersonic speed to subsonic speed, it doesn't produce a sonic boom. So if they're coming in from above 11 kilometers, as we discussed earlier, you have that acoustic shadow. So if it's traveling faster than the speed of sound and produces that sonic boom when it re-enters the atmosphere, quote unquote, all this nonsense they keep talking to us about, we can prove that that couldn't possibly produce a sonic boom to begin with, because it would at that altitude, but it's not something we're going to hear because they're above that 11 kilometers. So when that temperature increases and decreases and creates that wave and creates that acoustic shadow, you can't hear it anymore. We are below the acoustic shadow, so the sonic booms are blocked. So what are creating those sonic booms? And that's just something that I want to lay out there for the community. And there's another thing about sonic booms is when an airplane's traveling, for instance, and gets up to 761 miles an hour at sea level, the nose of the plane, or let's just use the space shuttle for example, the nose of the space shuttle will produce a sonic boom, but also the tail fin, because it's being detached from the aerodynamics of the actual fuselage there of the space shuttle, that tail produces a second sonic boom. But because something's traveling that fast, the two sonic booms happen so close, it produces something what's called an N wave. And that N wave is only detectable by computers. And that's something that I'm incapable of doing, but I know we have a lot of great researchers in the community, and I would like to put some of NASA's space shuttle sonic booms to the test and see if they're producing the N wave or if it's just sound that's being produced somewhere in the distance, because I think that's something that they're not accounting for, is replicating the N wave and those two sonic booms. What do you think about that, Austin?
I think that's fascinating. I'm sitting here thinking, what could possibly be that noise that they're making if they're even slowing down, like, you say they're above that level, but even you said there's, slowing down, it doesn't create a sonic boom. So when these shuttles are coming back in, is that like a man-made sound, or is that a sound from them like passing a barrier possibly? Or
Man, this is something that I just want to throw out there to the community. Like, I've taken the research this far, but I mean, this is something that I don't have a computer to be able to break down that type of footage, and I would like to see someone, if we could, take some of that footage and see if we see the N waves, or
right. Oh
expand
yeah,
upon
that'd
it.
be a great
Yeah.
idea. That'd be a good idea. I have a compilation of Falcon 9s re-entering and then creating sonic booms. And when you watch them, it's like, after what you were explaining, it really doesn't even make sense why it would make that noise coming back in.
Exactly.
It's not. They're not even going fast.
No, like they say, well, that's the sonic boom from when they re-enter the atmosphere catching up with them. Excuse me,
Right.
you have a problem there because you have an acoustic shadow that you're not accounting for. So
Right.
where's the sonic boom coming from?
Pistol shrimp, by the way. Thank you, Jameson.
Oh,
Pistol
awesome.
shrimp.
Pistol
Hey,
shrimp.
and earlier when you guys heard my baby in the background, Melanie's dog heard the baby and ran downstairs. That's what she said in the chat. She's like, "Oh, my dog just heard the baby and ran downstairs to secure the perimeter." So I thought that was funny. But yeah, pistol shrimp. Yeah, so this is fascinating. I think it's great we're talking about this. We're gonna have Joe on next week, and I want to bring this up to him because he has some videos showing compilations of sonic booms and other booms of, I guess, what they would call a comet or something. And I don't really understand what he's trying to say, but what I got out of that video is that that noise is coming from, that up there is a different realm than here. And it's like the entry of going from that realm back into this realm. What that realm is, I'm not, or what they're doing, because I think he thinks that there is people up there and they're like, could be in this bottomless pit that's always falling, and that's why they say they're always falling around the earth, and I find that really fascinating. And then you bringing this up, I don't think they're sending anybody up there. So but it's just something to think about for sure. I feel like we can get somebody to maybe find N waves on some of this. Are they able to find N waves on footage already done, or is that something they would have to do live, like they'd have to go to a launch?
No, you just play the footage, and when the sonic boom occurs, you just slow the footage down and look at the sound waves that are produced from the footage, and look for the N wave. It'll be very distinct because you'll see when the first sonic boom occurs, and then you'll see a wave that resembles an N, the letter N, like a lowercase
Right.
N, and then you'll see the second sonic boom happen right afterwards. But what you have to do is slow it down and expand the sound file where you widen, instead of looking at it from like second to second, you're looking at it from tenth of a second to tenth of a second, and then you can see the two sonic booms with the little end between it.
Yeah, fascinating. Very fascinating.
And what Joe's talking about, a lot of us in the flat earth community believe in the waters above. So that just goes back to the fluid dynamics that we were talking about earlier, because the speed of sound in a fluid, like a gas or a liquid, is just, it's going to be slightly faster through, well, depending on the medium itself of propagation itself, the density of the fluid, the actual fluid that could be up there. But for lack of a better word, let's say that it's the water, you're going to still produce sound up there, because that does provide you with a medium of propagation.
Right. Yeah. Me too. I believe that there's some type of water up there. At the same time, a part of me feels like it could be living in some type of crystal, like in a pocket. And there also could be water up there, I just feel like we're living on a giant crystal encased in some type of bubble of some sort, and all of it, I don't know. It's all fascinating to me, that's for sure. This
Yeah, I appreciate you letting me bring it up,
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's kind of a little bit advanced for me because I don't know much about this. I'm going to have to look into this chart and look into this more. But it's definitely something to think about, because obviously they're playing the shit out of us. And I don't think even these launches, I mean, personally, I do think they're sending stuff up there. I don't think they're sending people. I don't think they're sending stuff. I think they are shooting something. As for, I think it's like a mixture of both. They're using CGI footage for landings and stuff, trying to make it seem like it's grander and more than what it actually is. Really, they're just shooting up in the sky. And then they'll switch to CGI. Same thing with the landings for the SpaceX shit. All these silos they're putting in the air. It's just insane. There's no way. No way.
Yeah, this is some research that I'm just going to keep looking into. I've been looking into it for a few months now, so I'm still in the infancy of it. But I think that this is something that we can use to prove that they're not they're not traveling from above 11 kilometers, because we know that that, like we talked about, that acoustic shadow there. So that's just
Right.
one like nail in the coffin right there, I believe. But I saw that picture you just threw up there. If you want to dive into the Mandela effect a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so this is a picture that
We'll wrap it up after this, because actually, speaking of Mandela effect, Brian's going to be going live at 9 o'clock, guys. So after this, you guys can head on over there.
All right, well, I'll make this real quick then. So this is a photo taken from overseas. So the story that was told to me was there was the different chiefs in the different islands there were competing and battling, and Abraham Lincoln came here to an amphitheater that was located there at the top of this mountain and stayed in a log cabin. I forgot to send you a picture of the amphitheater and the log cabin, but all that's still there. And he united them and brought peace to the area. And so they built a statue, and it looks just like the statue that's kind of at the Lincoln Memorial there. And it's huge. You can see my hands on the statue there to the left, barely. But if you go and you Google now, did Abraham Lincoln travel overseas? The answer is no. And then when I try to find this place again online, I can't find it anywhere. It's almost like it's just been erased from history. But here's a picture of the statue that's overseas.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Would that be a Mandela effect?
Well, I took this in 2011, and I was just looking at
now this place doesn't exist at all.
I can't find any reference to it anywhere other than the pictures that I have. And I remember I wrote stuff all about it, because as the guy was telling me, because I was big into Facebook back then, so I would take pictures of something and then I'd write underneath it the stories that the people, because I traveled all over Asia and I never wanted to forget the stories that people were telling me. So this picture was taken in 2011. Underneath it, I wrote all about what he was telling me, and I can't find it anymore. And he never went overseas. So if he never went overseas, then either this guy was completely lying to me and the story is completely bogus. But once again, there's this 10-foot tall statue sitting out in the middle on top of a mountain with an amphitheater and a log cabin there from the
And what was this? What's this place again?
I do not know the exact name of it. That's another thing. I wish I wrote that part down.
Do you know what country or anything?
Yes, it was in the Philippines.
Okay. Philippines. Lincoln, dog. I'm gonna look into that. That's great. All right, but yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. Is there anything else you want to share before we get up out of here? I really appreciate you coming on, dude. This was a great show, man. Like, the energy is great. You're doing great work, man. I love what you're doing, man. I wish I was closer so I could be a part of it, you know? Like, I wish I had that around me, you know?
We're coming to you for Flat Atlantic, brother. We're carpooling down there.
Hey, that's what's up, dude. Hell yeah. Flat Atlantic, baby. January 1st. Flagler Beach. Can't wait. It's going to be a great time. But yeah, is there anything you want to share before we go?
Nah, man, I'm all good. Let's all jump over there and check out Brian, and I can come back whenever you come. When you go live on another platform for the first time, I'll come be your first guest.
Hell yeah. All right, bet. All right, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. It was fun. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Let's see. Got 30 people, or 28 at YouTube, 2 on Facebook, 11 at Rockfin. Thank you. First time on Rockfin, guys. So it worked out. And this is just the beginning, man. More to come, that's for sure. That is for sure. So check us out. Let's see. Sunday morning, of course, we're going to have our regular Awake and Bake. Bring some friends on, whoever wants to come on. We'll be dropping the link, you know, having a good time, chilling. Maybe bring up some current events. You know how it goes. And then next Wednesday is going to be my birthday. I'm going to be 34. Shout out to myself. Woo, woo. It's going to be my birthday. Hey. And we're going to have Joe Hill from Effed Up World. He's going to be on, and we are going to get into, you know, every time he comes on, it's an amazing conversation, and he brings all these great visuals. So, you know, that's going to be a good 2 hours or so of pure gravy. Who knows how far or how long that show will end up going. But, yeah, so check us out, guys. You can check me out now on Rockfin. Rockfin. Let me get the... I don't know at Awesome Austin, of course, that's my channel, but I was thinking of the URL. But yeah, go to Rockfin, search up Awesome Austin. I'm over here thinking I gotta worry about censorship. Like, you can't find me if you search me, but you can over there because they don't play that shit. You know what I mean? So go ahead and look me up. It's easy. Cammy, much love to Cammy, and the rest of you in the chat over there. Melanie, much love. No Despair Bear, yo, what's up, bro? Mary. Sarah G, much love. Cold Brews, Jameson, and then all of you over here on the YouTubes. Joe, what's up, bro? Jason, Jonathan, Tommy, Effed Up World, Free Flow. Hey, hey. I'm gonna give you guys the wrenches after the show. I'm on my other account right now, so call for zero, all you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Ariel, much love. Have fun with Tommy. It's gonna be a great time, guys. So yeah, peace and love. When you keep it real, you keep the real ones, baby. All right, Flat Gang. Peace.
Flat Gang.
The world is yours, the world is yours. The earth ain't round, let's open a new door. These ships don't curve, take a closer look. You may be surprised if you open the book. It might have you shook, it might have you booked. Balloons up so high, show me the truth. Curve like a fish eye. What's the real truth? There's no pictures, it's all Photoshop. You can't have pressure without busting pipes. It don't seem right, it don't seem gravity is fake. Nothing is that strong now. Planes can't fly straight. If the earth is round, it would have to dip. If the earth is round, couldn't see the big dip. If the earth was spinning, balloons wouldn't fly around. We can see too far, we can see it. The earth ain't round. If the earth is round, it would have to dip. If the earth is round, couldn't see the big dip. If the earth is round, it would have to dip. If the earth is round, couldn't see the big dip.
The Mellow.
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Yeah. Say hello to them fellows. The nugs sticky like marshmallows. Always ready to go, reppin' that wake and bake show. With Awesome Austin and Christian Knapp. Better put on your thinking cap, cause they're getting down to the nitty gritty. And sometimes they don't look so pretty. From Sandy Hook to 9/11, here I'm out at your discretion. From flat earth to moon landings, all aboard and listen to your captain. And pack a ball while you at it, cause staying baked is a habit. Fresh out the oven, it's time for discussion. So much knowledge you might get a concussion, cause you are now in the mix with the slickest of the slicks, the kings of the throne. Yeah, this the MellowDome.
They the type to change your mind, make you rethink and rewind. Spark a thought that goes shine, bring sight to the blind. No matter where they wrong, it's the MellowDome.